make sure that you read contracts before you sign them. I know it sounds, cliche, right? I know it sounds cliche and, everyone tells you to do that, blah, 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 but I don't have time to read it. You really gotta read contracts before you sign them. I got burned this week. So what happened was, as I've told you, I was not too satisfied last week with my property manager, and he's had units be vacant, and that's caused a bunch of other issues, because when people know a unit is vacant in certain neighborhoods, they will steal from them, and they'll break in and stuff like that. So it's been leading to a lot of problems because he hasn't been able to fill it adequately. And so I was trying to see if I could get out of the contract, break it with him. And usually there's like a 30-day or 60-day notice with property managers. Like, you need a formal written notice, and then, 60 days, and that's it. But this guy, what he did is he put in a 1-year contract that you cannot break. And then even after that, it will renew automatically unless you break it 30 days in advance. So basically, I'd have to prove that he's not doing his job, which honestly wouldn't be that hard. But I would have to go to court, and I would have to gather a bunch of evidence and prove that, like really prove it, And so it's really something I'm probably not going to take him to court, right? That's probably not worth the money and the headache. And God, I mean, I'm working like 70, 80 hours a week. I don't have time to go to the courtroom and stuff like that and do that. So I really don't think that's the route I'm going to go. But, that's the route I would have to go. And the other thing is, the thing I'm going to try, instead of going to court, is I'm going to try to talk to him, and hopefully I can get him to understand that he's kind of fucking me over by not doing his job, right? And, I don't know what type of guy he is for sure. I thought he was a good guy, but, maybe he's not. I thought he was a good, honest guy. But maybe he won't want to work with somebody that doesn't want to work with him. Even if the contract says, that technically I am bound to it, he might just prefer not to work with someone who doesn't want to work with him. So I'm hoping that there's a possibility that he doesn't want to. So I'll have to see about that, right? And I'm going to call him later this week and try to figure that out. But yeah, let this be a reminder to everybody to really, really just like read the contract word for word and make sure you're okay with it, and don't be shy about asking for a change, right? Now, listen, I saw that contract and I did read it fully, but I didn't really think that it'd be such a big deal, because I just I don't know. I figured that most property managers were pretty good. I figured this guy was pretty good and he would just do his job. But I was sorely mistaken. And, I think it's just always better to err on the side of caution, right? And if you can change the contract ahead of time, people are going to be much more likely to do that, because if you say, I'm not signing this unless you do XYZ, people still want your business, so they're probably going to change it. As opposed to trying to change it after the fact, where they already got you, right? I don't have a lot of leverage here, right? I'm basically going to be banking on kind of his goodwill. The only leverage I could really have is maybe say, listen, I'm going to leave you a scathing review online, and that's really the only, and drag his name through the mud or whatever. Like, that's the only real leverage I have, which is not a lot anyway. So yeah, definitely sign your stuff to make sure that you do not end up in the situation like I ended up. So yeah, that's really the lesson that I learned from this week. And then yeah, other than that, other than that, I actually sold some of my tools to my tenants. So I sold a Ring doorbell, and I had a yard sale, and I sold a Ring doorbell, and I also sold a weed eater. So it worked out pretty good, because I know the yard's going to be cleaned, and they're going to have extra security, and they don't really know that I'm their landlord, which is how I want to keep it. It's just smoother that way, and we have a pretty good relationship anyway, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, they were customers of mine at my yard sale, and it was pretty funny, because one of them came out and paid $40 for my Ring doorbell that was brand new in the box, and she paid in 41s, and so I'm pretty sure that's stripper money, but I don't judge, right? Listen, people got to do what they got to do. I just thought it was kind of a funny story, but anyway, that's sort of the only lesson from this week. Make sure that you sign your stuff. Make sure that you're doing your due diligence, and don't be shy is the other part of that. Don't be shy to renegotiate the contract if there's anything that you think could come up later that you might not want to be beholden to, right? You might not think it's a problem now, but just try to use your mind as much as possible to see, like, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens, right? And this is something I'm working on, is, trying to predict problems before they happen is really important, and especially important when you are signing your name on something, because any legally binding contract, you're going to have to ultimately abide by. But yeah, anyways, that's your friendly reminder, and yeah, see you later.